Hi everyone. I hope you're having a great night and you had a great weekend. Um, I'm excited to be here with you, and I have a really special guest today. My guests are always special, but this girl's really cool. I met her at a session in Toronto, which is actually where I'm from. Well, I wasn't born there, but my parents were born there, and we wrote a really cool song together. And then I've just been a fan ever since. And her name is Cindy, and I will invite her on now.
Hello.
I said that right? Cindy? Is that
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I don't know if the two dots are like.
They are a part of it. Yo, I'm so happy you put that there because like some people are like, is it Cinde? Is it like how do you pronounce it with the two dots, whatever? I'm like, no, it's pronounced like Cindy, like regular, because my real name is spelled with a Y. But I figured
Mhm.
for Googleability, there's so many Cindy's, so I have to figure out a way? So this was my way.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I felt about Chloe too, because Chloe's my real name. I was
Yeah.
just like, there are too many, and
There's
it's
so
funny
many.
because now, like, I feel like when I was growing up, there weren't that many Chloes, but now there's so many Chloes. So I'm like so glad that
Yeah,
I
I actually
didn't.
felt the same about my name. I only met like one as a kid, like another Cindy. And then as I grew up, there's so many. I'm like, oh gosh, no, we have to kind of make it unique or something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that happened.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Um, well, how was your day?
My
Did you?
day. What did I wrote some songs today. I'm actually getting ready for this weekend. I'm playing at a venue in Toronto called the Peach Berserk event space, and it's like this dope place with a bunch of cool art and all this stuff, and it's gonna be like an intimate kind of setting. It's a sold out show, which is really, really exciting. And I love doing intimate stuff because I get to like I just kind of get to sit on a stool and sort of like hunch over and be with my guitar, which is my natural state. So I'm really excited. So I've been rehearsing a lot for that. And yeah, now I'm here chatting with you and having a good time. How about
Well,
you? What'd you do today?
congrats. That's
Thank you.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like acoustic shows too. I feel like you can really like connect with
Yeah.
people, which is nice. I was just
Yeah.
working on some music too.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Congrats on the
What
Benny
else to
Benassi
say?
remix, by the way. That's so dope.
Thank you. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it's
really
killing.
fun. It was fun.
Awesome.
I got to perform it at like this club I always go to in the city. So it was like,
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cool. It's like a full circle thing.
yeah. Like I told myself, I'm like, when I get one day, I'm gonna be up there, and then randomly it happened.
And you
So
did it. I love that.
I know you
Those are
never
the
know
best
where
moments,
life's
man.
gonna take you.
And it's always the moments that, like, you wouldn't ever expect. Like, I did that as a kid, actually. I was, like, 4 and watching TV, and it was, like, the Grammys or something. I remember just being, like, a little kid and going, "I'm gonna go there one day," and I said it so, like, just at spur of the moment, like, out of my mouth, not even thinking twice, and I kept that memory in my head forever, and when I was 24, I went to the Grammys for the first time, and I was like, "Holy shit, little you did it." So, it was really cool. Yeah,
That's
it's just
amazing. What did you
yeah.
go for?
I used to do project management for the weekend, like, a long time ago, like, yeah, 2012 to 2016. Like, there was a midway between my music career where I decided there was a lot of people who were trying to, like, screw me over and who weren't being really honest, and that hurt a lot, and I realized I have to defend myself in some way, and for me, that's knowledge. So, like, I went to a school to learn about, like, artist management and kind of just, like, owning your own career, and from there, I ended up kind of doing a little sidetrack thing where I met the music supervisor for the weekend at the time and a couple of other artists who were also on the same management team. She hooked me up and she was like, I think you'd be a really great fit for the role. And then, yeah, so that's kind of how all that came together. And then when the weekend, it was 2016 when he was nominated for, I think it was R&B and Soul Record of the Year and Artist of the Year and a couple I think he was nominated for 2 or 3, and, he won 2, and that was, like, really cool just to be a part of that team at the time and watching the growth, from him doing I don't know, playing the Mod Club and all these, like, smaller legendary Toronto venues that are, like, they hold 350 people to, like,
Mhm.
going to the Grammys, and then, I just saw him play the Rogers Centre here in Toronto, and that's huge. I remember my first days working with XO, and we were doing a show at the Sound Academy at the time about, like, It was like 2,000 people maybe that fit there. And it was like he just unveiled his face like a few months ago. And I remember just looking at the guy and being in the realm of the performance and thinking like this is some Rogers Center level stuff. This is stadium level. Like it will get there. And it was so cool like a month ago going to see him there. And even though I'm not a part of that world anymore and I'm doing my own thing, like I shed tears in the audience because I know how much he worked for that. It was so beautiful and like a big full circle thing. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that is cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I would cry at a Weekend concert, and I've never seen him before in my life.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's either way, whether you're connected to it or not, I'd feel like I'd cry at it anyway. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was just wonderful, just being a part of the blood, sweat, and tears for the first like 4 years of his career, and then just kind of seeing what it's done. Like I learned with that experience that everything's possible, and that's kind of why I was able to leave that in 2016 and be like, "No, I actually think I could do this myself. Now I have the knowledge, I have everything I need." This was always my plan B, working with management, working with artists in some way, and I nailed that, and I did it really well. So why don't I put it towards my plan A, which was just making music and creating for other people and helping people feel things that they don't know how to express or articulate.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, so normally, like, I start off, I'm gonna ask you just so like we can break the ice a bit. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
ask you like a bunch of questions, and you have to answer them in like a minute, 20 seconds.
Let's go.
Um, okay. I am going to put the timer
Oh,
on.
there's a timer? Oh, okay, okay, okay.
If not, I'll just keep talking. Like I
No,
don't.
let's go. Let's go. I'm down. Let's go. Rapid fire, baby.
Okay, ready, go. Okay, what is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Anxiety.
Okay. How do you drink your coffee?
Um, 2 milk.
Your favorite thing to do when you're alone?
Oh, play guitar.
Do you think with your head more or your heart more?
My head.
Are you a city person or a nature person?
Oh, half and half. I need both or I will suffer. So
Introvert or extrovert?
I'm an introverted extrovert. So it depends on who you are. I feel like in settings like this, like I know you, you're cool. I like people on YouTube. Everyone's really supportive. So I'm down to be here. But then sometimes if I'm around like weird people or like just the vibe isn't right or I'm scared or something, I just turn into like a little raisin. I just like, yeah, so that's my
Yeah.
answer.
Okay. Your love language.
Acts of service.
A place that you want a vacation to that you've never been.
Japan.
Your favorite food to order in.
Oh, tacos, fish tacos or shrimp.
Okay. An experience that oh frick.
Damn it.
Okay.
Sorry, I talked too much. That was my fault.
No, it's okay. The last one was an experience that you'll never forget.
Uh
Well, you kind of said that already.
that Grammy one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm like pro prepared.
You're seeing the future.
There it is. It's a vision, you guys. You just got to be a part of the vision.
um how how like do you feel post pandemic? Like I'm always interested cuz I feel like the pandemic for a lot of people, as horrible as it was, like there was a lot of positive things that they got out of it. Do you feel like that?
100%. I actually am in the weirdest way kind of happy that it happened. Um Prior to it, I'd never produced or even thought it was like in my realm of things that I could do because I was a very analog person, very like I need to touch and play the guitar. I need to sing. I just need to sing. I can't really like I don't want to press the buttons while I'm writing. I don't want to do any of that. But then I realized over COVID, like we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. Obviously, Tampa, he's like my gem. I love him for everything. He's most incredible producer and just works with a bunch of people, but I couldn't access him. And, his wife was pregnant at the time. So like it was like a whole health thing, right? And I never wanted to like cross any boundaries or anything. So I was just kind of stuck at home going like, oh my God, I'm going stir crazy. I have all these song ideas. What am I going to do? And it kind of pushed me to produce. and figure that out. So I'm not even a drinker, which is really funny, but I remember like almost every night I would just go on this Ableton course. I decided to go with Ableton, and I purchased this course and I was just like doing hours and hours and hours of it just drinking wine. I was just drinking wine and learning Ableton, and it was like the weirdest thing, and all of a sudden I'm like 4 hours deep. I'm like, I'm kind of drunk right now, but I learned a lot of stuff. And it was such a happy accident. And I started recording demos and all this, and then after those 2 years, I can't really like announce this yet, but I landed 2 songs with a really big TV show that's coming out next year, and I'll be sharing it when the time is like ready. But I'm so happy because if it wasn't for me pushing myself to do that, I would have never been able to like obtain something like that. And it's always been a goal of mine, like getting one of my songs on TV or film or whatever. And to be able to have been the sole producer on it and like mixed it myself and all that kind of stuff, like that's crazy to me. I didn't even think that that was possible. So I'm grateful that like it gave me that push and that fire to kind of figure it out for myself. Yeah, it totally changed my life for the better.
That's amazing. Yeah, like I haven't, maybe I need to buy myself a bottle of wine because I like always get to a certain point with producing and then I'm
It's
like,
scary.
nope, like
Yeah.
next song. And like I'll get it to a certain point and I'll lay out some instruments and that. And then I'm kind of like, there's like a wall, and
Like a disconnect or something.
I think the wine might break down that
It
wall. So
might, it might, like, honestly, and I'm not a great producer, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm, like, I'm learning, I'm still in that process. I feel strange still calling myself a producer, but, um, it's kind of cool. I do understand, especially because I've worked with you before, and I understand how intuitive you are with the way that things sound, and you just kind of, like, I don't like it's cool. Like I remember in our session, you just kind of went to the piano and you just intuitively started like playing something and singing something, and like that's the energy that I want to remain in when I'm writing. And like that's where the value is, right? And that's where like the good stuff is. It's hard to still keep connected to that when you're going back and forth and pushing buttons. So like this is where the
yeah.
importance of engineers are, and like I get why it's so daunting and where that disconnect is, cuz like it totally pulls you from the creative. So I like it's still a struggle for me straight up to like sit and produce or even to just like record a demo. I feel like I have to write it on my own. I'll have like a voice note going and I'll just like write the thing raw, like on guitar or like whatever instrument. And then I'll figure out all the tech stuff after. So like that's been my process to like eliminate that weird disconnect kind of thing. And wine.
Yeah. No, but I think it's really like what you're saying is really true. And so, like, I am very intuitive with everything I do. And I feel like I'm moved by something greater than myself. And when you bring that, like, technology into it or anything into it, that's more, even when you bring like musicality into it, it's just immediately kind of like you doing it now. It's not something bigger than you, like, it's you.
Yeah. 'Cause, like, I understand being in that, like, ethereal headspace when you're creating. It's just, like, it's its own world, and then the tech aspect kinda brings you back down to earth, but you don't wanna be on earth while you're making that
Yeah.
music. So it's like, I can't stay in the middle either, so yeah, I feel that.
And I think it's the same thing with social media, like, because that immediately like takes you out of it too. You don't like I don't even want to be thinking about TikTok when I'm
Mm.
writing the songs. So it's like that's a challenge too. Because I see your TikToks and stuff, they're funny and I haven't seen all of them, but I like them. Do
Thank you.
you do you enjoy social media? Do you like do you find it
Um
helpful?
It's been helpful in the sense that I've gotten to connect with so many people. Like, if it wasn't for social media, like, I wouldn't have met you. You know what I mean? If it wasn't
Mhm.
for or Tompo or any of the wonderful people that I get to work with every day. So there is the blessing factor, and I have to always remember that. But it's so easy to get like sucked into like the comparison game or like whatever, or just kind of just getting distracted, period. You know what I mean? Like I have a deadline or I have something to work on. And it's like I'm freaking scrolling nonstop. Like it's been 3 hours. I feel like I'm in a casino and like I can't have that attitude. So I do like to shut it off. I feel like with TikTok and that kind of stuff, I enjoy I enjoy making content that I like. I don't like, you know, um I don't know, like, I just signed, like a management deal recently, and one of the things I mentioned to them is like, hey, if we're going to talk content and doing this kind of stuff, like, I have no problem connecting with my fans, but it has to be authentic. I'm not going to do trends just because they're trending. I'll do trends if they're funny and they appeal to me and I think they're hilarious,
Mhm.
but like, I'm not going to just do something, or I don't know, if it feels inauthentic, like, I'm not interested, and I have to make it
Yeah,
fun for me. I like, even the I hate saying this, but the marketing aspect of our careers, we have to not only make the music and put it out, but tell people that, like, hey, this exists and I want you to listen to it. So I need that message to be like congruent and cool too. I can't have it be this like, hey guys, swipe up right now and I don't know. It's just not for me. So
yeah, no, it's hard because I feel like sometimes authenticity, works and sometimes it doesn't. And so it's like it's hard when it doesn't work because it's like, oh, like when you really put yourself out there, then you're really kind of giving power to people to decide if they like you or not. Like you have to be strong enough to handle whatever feedback you're gonna
yeah.
get. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is like definitely had a lot of has a lot of positive things
Yeah.
about it too. I think it's just the time-consuming aspect of it that irks me because it's like just creative energy I'd rather be using on my music than on
Bingo.
social
Yeah.
media.
I totally get that. But you know what? You know what I also find? The biggest players in the game are so invisible online. The ones that are like really working, really, they're making a living out of this comfortably and they're happy people and they're just cool. They're usually not on social media, you know what I mean? I think that there's something interesting and kind of divine about preserving your energy for your creativity, and if that's the kind of artist you are, don't be ashamed of that, you know?
Yeah,
I think it's kind of cool cuz whatever you do put out is going to have so much more intricate value than, just putting out something for the numbers or for the TikTok or whatever. Just like
yeah.
preserve your energy if that's what feels like you. I think that's kind of cool.
And I think too, it's like you said, like you can do stuff. You don't have to be like the person on TikTok that's always showing your music and always showing your demos and always showing like if that's not you, like you can always just do trends or do what you find fun. Like I feel like, like obviously social media seems fake, but
Yeah,
at the
it kind
same
of is to a
time, like
degree.
what you show, the version of yourself you show your mom is different than the version of yourself that you show your friends, is different than the version of yourself you show your boyfriend, is different
Right.
than the version of yourself you show your boyfriend's parents. Like, you're always performing in some aspect in life, and, like, social media is just kind of like another face or another performance that you put on, um, and I think, like, that's
It's
important
like
to
a
remember,
facet.
you know?
I think, like, it's definitely another or, like, an extension of who I am, like, or another side of me for sure. I feel like life is a performance, everything is entertainment. That's how I, like, n don't get like, I have a short temper sometimes, and for me to not, like, get angry, I'm just like, "This is entertaining. This is really funny. Look at these people yelling at me,
Yeah.
LOL." So I kinda have to look at it like that. Um But yeah, it kinda is. I don't know, at the level that I am now, it's kinda funny, like, if I'm talking to a new guy or, like, I'm, doing whatever, like, I'll just be like, "Here's my Instagram," and then they'll show their parents, be like, "Oh, this is the girl I'm seeing right now." I'm like, "Don't show them that. Please don't show them that." Like, oh my god, that's the worst. Like, "I love your song that's called Pussy." Oh my god, I've literally had someone's mom say that to me, and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus."
Oh, that's
I'm
good,
like,
though, that means she gets you.
she gets it. She's like, "I love it. It's about strong and independent women." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Your soup was lovely this evening. Thank you so much for dinner." Yeah, so it was kind of one of those things. But I can't like avoid it anymore. So that's why I decided to um like, I know that like, yes, this is true where there's a version of yourself for your mom, your brother, your dog, your boss, whatever it is. At the same time, I've really, over the last few years, tried to implement the same version of me in all of those versions so that
Mhm.
if a bit of me does slip out in a professional setting or like whatever, and I mean just like, the way I speak or whatever, how I've just kind of been pretty blunt or whatever. I I I like that version of me and I like her. I want her to stay and I want people to know that version of me, so that when they go on my online and they see this highlight reel of who I am, they're like, "Oh, you know what? This kind of makes sense actually." Like I that is the
Yeah.
same girl I know. So I've been really trying to like own that authenticity as much as much as it is kind of hard receiving like flack for it, or just like, the more yourself you are, the more like criticism that you're going to get, because you're not people pleasing at the end of the day. And that's okay. I have my niche, and I'm really happy to the people who appreciate that, and appreciate who I am and what I bring to the table. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for that. So
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to look at it. And you don't have to show everything, but it's just that what you show should in some way align with who you are and your
yeah,
values.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get started in music? Like, were your parents musicians? Did you?
My dad plays guitar, and he always like he's a big Kiss fan, and like he's into like the 80s hair metal and that kind of stuff. So that's always what was playing around the house. And he had this the lead guitarist from Kiss, Ace Frehley, he had this like special Les Paul guitar that like he got, and I remember just looking at it as a kid, and I'm like, this is so cool. And just watching him play, and I would like learn to sing, and I would play with toys at 7. I remember being like 7 or 8 years old playing with toys and like freestyling. Like it's like they were like talking to each other but as a musical. And then like my parents would walk in and be like, "That rhymed. That rhymed again. Like you should do this." And I was like, "Ew, you're embarrassing me. Go away." And like it was kind of funny. And I realized, I guess, at 12 that I could sort of do this for a living. And I got into playing guitar. And my dad taught me a few chords. And he was like, "I want to teach you how to teach yourself. This is how I learned, blah, blah, blah." And I kind of just put it together. So ever since I was 12, that was it. And my dad was really happy that I got into music. He was a really big supporter of my career and stuff, still is. And he got me to play like his work Christmas parties, and I would get paid in $100 future shop gift cards, which gets you like video games and stuff like that. So it was a cool experience as a kid, just getting to know like how that all works, lugging your gear in the car in the morning to go do a sound check and whatever. So it was really inspiring, and my dad really pushed us, me and my brother as kids. He's a drummer as well. My brother's like 4 years younger than me, and so it was cool. We had like kind of a little musical thing going. My mom doesn't really do anything, but she's just like, "Thumbs up, great job. Whatever I can help with, I'm there."
But it's kind of good to have like, because it's actually the same thing. Like my older sister, she sings, but not like, you know,
Yeah.
really, but kind of. And my dad, he's like a musician, guitar player, writes songs, whatever. And my mom kind of like doesn't. But it's kind of nice to have like a somebody who doesn't know anything about music. Like I'm
Yeah.
always very interested in her opinions of my songs, like which ones she likes, because she's not like looking at it from any perspective of like she's just like, does it sound good or does it not sound good? You
Yeah, and
know?
that's the best perspective, to be honest. I love speaking to people who aren't like inclined at all, or like, "Are you in accounting? I want to talk to you." You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's really interesting to see like what people are, and obviously everybody's different, but what like really captures people's attention who don't know anything about music.
Did you
Um,
find a difference between, like, your dad's opinion on your songs and your mom's opinion on your songs? Was there always, like, a congruent, like, opinion that you kinda kept seeing?
my mom doesn't like any of my songs that like are controversial in any way, or like if they might offend one person in the world, she's like, I don't know about this one.
That's so cute. I don't know if it works.
Whereas my dad's like the complete opposite. Like he wants me to write like the raw truth. Like so I guess
Tell
in
'em!
that way. Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
like the
awesome.
ones that they both like, I'm like, okay, this is like a good balance.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is
Oh, I
your
love
dad
that.
like supportive of you to this day? Like,
Yeah, it's awesome because since those days where I played at his work parties and stuff, he has this camcorder and he's filmed every single show that I've
oh my
played.
god.
And I think the last one in a row that he got to, I was about like 25 years old. I'm 30 now. So like the last few, not really. I've just kind of been everywhere
You
and,
do not look 30.
thank you. I will take that. I got carded the other day and I
That
was like,
oh, I
oh
would never
yeah,
have guessed that.
that's awesome. Yes, I love this. Yeah, it's weird. I'm like almost 31 and it freaks me out every day because I am not that age in my brain, but that's okay. Um, Yeah, so, what was I saying? He films everything. He gave me this bag the other day of all these, like, little baby camcorder discs, and he's like, "This is, like, every show you've ever played. You should totally go through these." And I'm like, "What the shit?" So I'm gonna have, like, a really fun time going through that, and I just he came to everything, like, always was helping me with, like, the gear, like, he bought me my first couple guitars growing up and stuff, and really taught me a lot. Honestly, even though I went to school and I worked with the weekend and all that kind of stuff, the most lessons that I kind of take with me from my time as a kid or growing up in the music industry was from that time, like with my dad playing those shows. Those first lessons about even like how to wrap cables and like how to plug your amp in and put your pedals together and stuff like that. Really basic stuff. Those are all things that I think about till today. And it's all stuff from that era beyond anything.
Yeah. I mean, you also just like you learn so much when you're young,
Yeah,
like
you're a sponge.
you just learn things so quickly. Like I think that's probably the hardest thing about getting older is
Yeah.
just that it's hard to change. And I mean, I'm 22, so I'm like
You're
shouldn't be talking.
22?
Yeah, like I shouldn't be talking like this. Like I'm
No,
still
you're
young,
good.
but
You're
still,
good.
like, oh my god, my 8-year-old self could like learn anything, like go surfing, go skateboard, like she would have
Yeah,
learned
we
it.
just had it. Like, I don't know what like, it's the spongy behavior. Like, I teach vocal and guitar to kids too, and I notice, like, I have, like, one student where she's just a G. Like, she just gets everything, like, first shot, and it freaks me out. I'm like, "I could never do this right now," but, I remember having this brain strength. It's epic. Like, I tell her all the time, like, "You're gonna lose this one day. Don't forget that. Like, learn everything you
Yeah,
can right now."
yeah.
So it's
Do you
funny.
feel like being a woman in the music industry that's like affected you?
Yes. Actually, up until I turned 30, the biggest hack about turning 30 is people like respect you a lot more. And when you say that in a session, you're like, "Oh, like you've been doing this a while. Like, you didn't just show up here." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, like you should probably treat me like a human being. I don't make sandwiches for you. Sorry." Um, but yeah, it affected me in the sense that I feel like I had to um just work a little harder to be taken seriously. I didn't have to work harder than anybody else to learn the instruments or to whatever. Like my talent is the same as like anybody else's talent and hard work that they put towards it. It's just about like the perception from others that I find was the most difficult. So um just being taken seriously and having to work extra hard to have like a valid voice in the room. And I really got the chance to see the difference between men and women in the industry and how they operate and how they get to kind of move up and down and laterally when I was working with the weekend. And just kind of seeing like the big boys do it. And it's scary, man. It can be really, really like really frightening. Like you almost have I hate to say this, but you almost have to turn into a person that you don't want to be. I'm pretty nice and chill, you know what I mean? But sometimes you kind of got to be on the defense just to protect yourself. Especially, like if you're a conventionally attractive person, you know what I mean? It's difficult. Like people are just going to look at you as like a meat sack, and that's really unfortunate. Um, so yeah, I find that the playing an instrument kind of helps to be taken seriously as well, which is just so stupid that like I have to have all these like things that I do or all these I have to have all these accolades to be taken seriously as a person. I think that's the challenge that I find being a woman. How about you? What do you feel the same or like what's your challenge?
I think that it's like a mix of like being a woman makes you more prone, like you grow up just learning more how to please people. And I was actually reading this article the other day of how like because like women grow up communicating with women mostly and men grow up communicating with men, once like men start communicating with women, it's really interesting because men learn from other men that like how to assert their dominance, and like women learn from other women how to make each other happy, like how to please each other. So then you have like women communicating in a way that's trying to please someone, and then a man like communicating in a way that's trying to assert their dominance, and like sometimes it's not even intentional, like they're trying to make you feel less than. It's just what they learned that they had to do in order to be taken seriously.
Right.
And we didn't learn that, you know? And
Yeah.
so I find as a woman, it's just hard to assert your dominance because one, it's unexpected, and two, it's just like hard to kind of get up the courage to do it. And I also think it's like when you're a pretty woman, like, or any woman, it's like people want like a piece of you or something. Like they want to make you like they don't see you as like that's you. It's like what can I do with her?
And they write a version of you in their brain. Like, they see you and they mold you in their brain, and if you don't meet that criteria or you say something foreign to that thought of theirs, they kind of go like, "What the heck? Like, that's not you. That's not." Do you Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, a lot. And it makes me question myself a lot because I I don't know, I just have mental like things, you know. I'm always fighting myself in my head. You know, there's
I get
like
that.
I've my whole life had this voice in my head that was just like, "You're doing it wrong, you're not good enough," like, and so when I it's just hard because it's like that other people can so easily become that voice in my head, and so it's like
Mm.
I take it as not even like someone else is saying it, but I'm saying it. It's like, "Oh,
It's like, whose voice
see,
is
you
this?
were right." Like, the other voice in my head was right the whole time because this person knows that you're so it's complicated for me.
But it's a confirmation bias too, because our brain is naturally gonna look for information that meets the same thing in our own brains. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. This person made one comment about me that is literally irrelevant and probably has more to do with something they're projecting about themselves. But I'm going to internalize it as something that like validates the opinion that I had of myself. It just tells me that my insecurity is correct. And it's kind of messed up because there's actually so much other information that's probably given to you, so much love, so much like appreciation for what you do musically as a person and all these as a family member that attribute so much value to you and tell you that like you're an awesome person, but we're going to just focus on this one little thing it because it matches the voice in our head. It's harmonizing with it. Like, I hate that. It's the worst, and
Yeah.
I suffer with it too. um it does get better though, man. Like, I've been there. Like, I remember when I was 22. Wow, what a time. I was very people pleasy at the time as well. I was working for the weekend. I was just like I was like 2 years into the job. I remember getting there and it's like people would kill for my job. Like, if I said no to something, I was like, I could get fired and replaced tomorrow. Like, someone will easily take my job. Like, I
Mhm.
love this. I love what I do. So I'm gonna just say yes to everything. And it turned into this big mental like, because you're saying yes to everything and you can't actually truly commit, you're not gonna fully do the best job. And then when you get criticized for that, it almost like it gives you that confirmation bias, like, ah, shit, I did a bad job. Crap. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's actually kind of better. Like, I learned it's better to just say no and assert yourself that way. Because it'll actually like save you the peace of mind later on, and honestly garner a little bit more respect, to be straight up.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to do that, but I definitely think that's the way to go. Like,
It's hard.
because avoiding conflict is only going to cause more conflict anyway. And if it's not external conflict, it's going to be internal conflict. And that's not
Yeah.
like fair to yourself, you know?
I always say that like friction has to go somewhere, and like no matter what, it needs an outlet, and if you choose to people please, you're still like that friction still remaining there. You're thinking that you're alleviating it by like pleasing the other person, but it actually just stays with you, and it'll come out in a different way, and it'll create resentment in the other person, as opposed to just saying like, I'm sorry, I really can't commit. I owe you the respect of like, for whatever reason, it doesn't even matter, but it's just like I owe you the respect of being honest and I want to give you my full 100% self. And if that person or whatever the person responsible for that thing that they want you to be a part of, if they don't respect that, then they didn't respect you in the first place anyway, and you probably don't want them in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And like also like sometimes it's okay to do a bad job because it's like you said, it's like I always felt like, oh, like I have to have the perfect verse before I'm able to like say it, or I have to have the perfect like I have to know how to play guitar before I have like
Like,
I
play it live or
purposely
whatever.
before I play it live, or I have to like know how to produce fully before I give it the producer like my input or something. And it's like, but then at the same time, like when other people give ideas, even if they're not that great, like I'm always like, okay, let's see how we can work from that. Or like that's not like, like
Like,
I
it doesn't
take it
work, but
into
okay.
account. Yeah, like
Yeah,
whatever. And if it sucks, I'm just like, well, I think it
but
sucks,
we
but it's
tried.
fine. Like whatever. Like it's not the end of the world. Like to not have a great idea. Like, and
Or
it's
yeah.
okay to just say what your idea is, even if it's like my boyfriend and I, we play this game sometimes where we just like ask each other questions and we just say the first thing that comes to our head. And like sometimes it makes zero sense, but we just like have to say it.
Yeah,
And it's helpful because it's
it
like
is.
we're constantly walking around with these like blocks. It's like what we are thinking, then like, oh, how are we gonna say it, and are we gonna like how are we gonna feel when we say it, how are they gonna think about what we say? And it's like sometimes you just say it.
Sometimes just say it, and, like, the worst that happens, it just becomes, like, a second in time that you won't remember in the future, you know what I mean? Some of these moments are so insignificant, we make them everything in our head in those moments, and it's really not. Just, like, say the thing and don't wonder what if after. Um,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's really not as bad. I think we all observe our own selves worse than, anybody else is, like, perceiving or observing us, and I think that's where, like, all that fear comes from. So, I sort of, like, I always remember that. I'm like, "I'm paying attention to myself, so that means other people are probably paying attention to themselves. So I'm just gonna, like, say my thing," you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. Like the other day I was out with a friend and I was like, my outfit wasn't cool today. Like I wonder what they were thinking about my outfit. And then I'm thinking like they were probably thinking about their outfit and how I
Straight
thought
up.
about their outfit. Like, what am I even talking
We
about?
all do that. We're like, none of us have had a unique experience. Like, this is all like all of our brains low key operate the same. And it's just funny when we all
Yeah.
kind of figure that out. It's the wonderful like oneness of like the universe. Like everyone thinks we're so separate and so whatever. And it's like, nah, we're actually so much more alike than you think. Like we're all made from the same dirt.
Mm. I love like when I have moments where I realize that it just makes me feel like so not alone.
Yeah. It kind of helps. It helps the mental straight up.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What's
I just
coming up
filmed
next?
a music video for a song called I Started Smoking Cigarettes Because of You. I have stopped. I have not. I'm
Okay.
not smoking cigarettes anymore because of this person. But it's basically about just a toxic a-hole who I found very attractive at the time, and it was just like a song kind of just about bad vices and stuff and just kind of getting rid of that. And I'm excited. I filmed the music video, and it's coming out soon. It's a green screen video. I decided like let's just have fun. It's a cool song where
Mm.
like it's gonna segue. The last half of the song kind of segues into um the more pop rock side of things that I'm gonna be exploring in my next batch of music. So I'm excited to release that into the world and playing a show. I guess I'm announcing it here first. I'm playing a show at the Rivoli on December 1st in Toronto. So if any of you guys are from Toronto, please come and hang out. It's going to be a really, really fun time. So yeah, that's kind of what I got going on.
I wish I could come.
I wish you can come too, but you know what? If I'm ever in your city, I gotta come see you play because that would be dope.
What do you have a date for that single or no?
No, right now we're in the I have like a master that's coming back to me. I had to send a couple of edits, that whole back and forth thing.
Mhm.
So single cover's shot, everything's like done, ready to go, and my distributor knows that it's coming. So I'm just like, I'm just waiting for the final, and you can have it. So yeah, probably before the end of the year though. Um, and then I have a whole project coming out at the top of the year, probably sometime in February, March. And I'm really excited. This is going to be like, it's something I've been waiting to do for a really long time. And these songs are sitting in a really cool place right now. And I'm just excited to showcase like the hard rock side of me that I've put away for so long. Just it's like it's the type of music that I've been wanting to play forever. It's just the most authentic to me. So I think I'm gonna have the most fun with this release, and people are really gonna feel it too.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I feel like not only like are you dope and like your lyrics are dope, but I feel like you really know who you are as an artist, and like that's really cool. Like even like
Thank you.
like your style, and like it goes with the music, and it's just like, but it's still you, you know, like you're
Thank
not,
you.
it's not like you're trying to be this artist. Like it's you, and that's really cool. Like I feel like that's rare. So I'm really
Thank
excited for
you.
you.
Thanks, man. It's honestly,
What
I'm just my 14-year-old self. That's the secret. Is whatever you were doing at
what
14 is probably what you're gonna end up going back to. So just like remember to keep her happy. That's like my biggest
yeah.
advice for everyone is like keep your 14-year-old self happy. Anyway, sorry, you were gonna ask a question.
No, that's so true. Like I found myself, I'm like all of a sudden I like bling and like low rise jeans and like hats and like freaking, because I grew up obsessed with like Shakira and Christina Aguilera and like all these people. Like I was a 2000s baby. And
Yeah.
like for so long I was like never doing that again. And now I'm like, wait, that's who I am.
Yeah,
It
and that's
comes
so cool
back.
to embrace that. Yeah, dude, like just be that. Like I'm if my 14-year-old self existed now, she would give me the hugest hug and think I'm so freaking cool. And to me, like that's just what I've always wanted, you know? And I think that's
Yeah.
just the core of it all. We get into this space as artists where it's like we gotta like you said, we got to people please, or like I don't know, like are people gonna like this song? Are people gonna like this release? Whatever. It's like who gives a shit? If you were in the studio and it made you feel sick and you were like jumping around and it made you feel something or gave you goosebumps, there's 7 billion people on this earth. Guaranteed, there's another person who's just as niche and cool as you who's gonna go like, oh my god, this song is giving me goosebumps. So just as long as you feel something, and 14-year-old you is like, oh my god, that's it.
That's amazing. That's like really good advice. I feel like, I don't know, I was gonna ask you like what keeps you inspired, you know, but I feel like it's like for you, it seems like it's just the music. Like you just love the music.
I just love writing. Like I have all these unique experiences, especially this year in my life that have happened that I've never expected to go through. And it's almost like I'm really this is so messed up to say. Um it's they're really messed up things that have happened to me, but like I'm almost really fortunate that they have happened because there's so many strange moments that I get to like write about and talk about, and I can reach so many people who have also gone through these strange unique experiences who felt that like they've never had um someone to relate to on this front, like on this the some of the music that I'm working on now, like I'm writing songs about taking care of someone who had cancer, like and getting cheated on. I know that's like a pretty basic topic, but like taking care of someone with cancer and getting cheated on, that's a big no, that's the thing that some parents I know have like gone through, and I don't know any songs about that kind of stuff. I wrote a song about domestic violence. I wrote a song about like there's so many like weird niche things. It's like I don't want to sing just love songs. I want to sing about like, you know, when I was a kid, I healed with music. If there was like, arguments in my house or like whatever was going on, I would just put headphones on and forget. And I want to be able to like give that to other people because I know that it's really difficult to escape some certain situations, especially if you're a kid and you don't have like income or whatever and you can't really escape. If I can provide that or some sort of healing or even just something to cry to, just some background music to fucking oh, I didn't mean to swear, but to like cry to, like I think that I think it's like I think that's really important, and that's something that I've always kept close to my heart when I'm writing music is just being able to do that for somebody.
That's beautiful. I
Thanks,
think
man.
like what's so cool about music is it not only like can help you escape, but it can help you through something and like get to the other side of it, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, anybody could watch TV and go on their phones, but like music can actually show you a way out, and like nothing else for me at least has ever been able to do that.
Yeah, and to be able to, like, create something out of nothing, like, think about what an idea is. An idea is really it's nothingness in your brain, and turning it into something that, like, actually helps develop ideas, and the nothingness in somebody else's brain helps inspire other creativity, whether it's musical creativity or the creativity to, like, understand how to get out of a situation. I like being able to give people that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're helping a lot of people, and I very much look forward to your new music.
Thank
There's
you.
like one final question that I ask everyone. You talked about like your 14-year-old self, but if you could tell yourself, your younger self, like one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
Um, t lose the glasses and, lose the glasses and shave your upper lip. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I think I would say, uh, keep doing this. Like, don't freak out about what everyone else is doing, and don't get rid of your skate shoes and your studded belts and your Green Day shirts because all the guys that you um, like girls with really tight pants and little bras, because those guys end up balding with no jobs in the future. So it's fine. Don't worry about them. And yeah, just like don't worry about what people think about you because it's so useless. It doesn't mean anything. And your old you is the old version of you just wants to be you. So yeah, that's what I would tell her.
I think that's good advice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think that it's just that I wouldn't change anything, but I would change the way that I looked at, at things,
Yeah,
because
that's exactly it. Like I'm okay with what happened. I'm okay with all my life experience. Like I also say, like, my eyeballs are worth billions of dollars, like, all the things and experiences that I've seen and felt, and, I'm really, really lucky. As much as I work hard for it, I understand that I'm really, really fortunate to have done a lot of the stuff that I've done and, achieved a lot of what I've personally had. I'm grateful, but, I owe a lot of it to just, I don't know, being myself and, kinda working through and powering through that, yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's like so nice talking to you, and I learned a lot. So thank
That's
you.
awesome. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks to everyone who's watching, and thanks for having me. I'm super stoked to kinda get together and write again. Cause yeah.
Yes.
I would love to, I would love
Yes,
to.
I would love to. Thank you everyone who joined, and follow her on Instagram at I am Cindy. Have a good
I
night.
am Cindy.